keep trucking probably about, say about 7 feet. They'll be able to hear us.
Right here?
Yeah, I think we're both in there, right?
Right.
We're good. We're pretty close to social distancing, aren't we?
Who cares, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
All right, we're live and ready to roll. We'll also have a YouTube recorded version of this later on today. I'm with a new friend of mine here in Fort Worth, and got to know him the last few, I guess maybe last week. I heard a lot about you. And but I'm with Coach Parrish. Is that, did I pronounce that correctly?
No, Paris.
Paris.
Like
Paris.
the city
Yeah,
of Paris,
I
France.
get that's about like that's par for the course for me. But anyway, Coach has got a great story to tell. He's an NHL hockey coach at one point. Is that right?
NHL development coach.
And consultant as well.
Yeah.
And but I let him tell his story, his background, and his journey with hockey. And it's pretty impressive. And what we're trying to do is combine some training. Coach came to me about this as well. That wants to combine some hockey training with golf training, and we'll go into that after he explains his.
Great coach.
John?
Yeah, my name's John Parrish Jr. I used to work for the Montreal Canadiens. I played junior hockey in their chain. I was scouted by Scotty Bowman, probably the best coach in hockey, arguably. Also at a very young age. After I had problems with illness, etc., and so forth, so I returned to the academic world, started coaching, midget AAA development hockey. We won a few championships there, the Air Canada Cup, for example, which is a Stanley Cup of minor hockey. Coached Tampa Bay Lightning's top affiliate team in Atlanta, Georgia. We won the Turner Cup, '94. We had Macon in Georgia, which was Montreal Canadiens farm team. Coach Major Jr. was a GM. I was the first black professional hockey coach, also the first black professional coach to win a championship, and the first black executive in the sport of hockey. So that's a little bit. There's more, but I'm not going to bore you with it.
It's on Google. Just all you got to do is go check it out. It's it's very impressive. And Coach, no, you came to me. I was up on the practice tee the other day, and you were working on your swing and everything. And we started talking just golf and hockey, and you were wanting to put in hockey into some, use golf as some training that we do and so forth into hockey, and then bring some of the hockey skills, which I know will help us because I believe the fastest the crossover sport, you know, everybody asks, what is it, tennis, baseball, this? No, it's not. They're playing from where the ball's level to you. Like we talked the other day, hockey plays just like we play. It's on the ground, except if you have bad lower body mechanics, you end up on your backside, and you get penalized for doing silly stuff and not having enough forward, lower body strength and so forth. And striking skills, I would assume that'd be your world, talking about that with hockey. But in golf, you can make bad swings, and you should get, if you swung on ice like that with some of these, you know, like even when I was a kid, you know, I would well up my hips like this and swing up at it, and you would just do a circle, you know, you'd break posture, and it would just, that was a good point the other day when you say when you find somebody on ice that would break posture, and they would kind of rise out of it, what you were saying, and they break posture, you'd say, tell them to smash them, you know, because they're not going to be able to take that strike when they break out of posture, or probably alignment, joint alignment.
Yeah, they lose their posture. The basic is balance.
Right.
And what happens is maybe for some reason or other, maybe leaning back.
Almost screwed up just a hair.
The minute that we find them in a position where they're vulnerable, that's when you can attack, what we say attack and destroy. But really what we mean is just simply make body contact, try to retake possession of the puck. The major reason between hockey and golf, we like to have a transfer. Youth, adults, professionals, all learn easier when it's through another sport. Right. So what we're doing is basically taking hockey and golf and showing you that hockey has hazards, golf has hazards. So we're just putting it all together. The posture, the mechanical side of it, the cerebral side of it, vision, making decisions. It's all the same thing whether it's golf or hockey. But if you do not understand those basic skills, you're not going to be very successful. And if you want to be really good at something, you have to spend more time at doing things that are a little more mental, have a little more understanding than simply doing strength and conditioning.
Absolutely. And going back to that, I think one of the things that in golf where we're so weak at, and we still are, even though you have your PGA Tour and your Champions Tour, you know, you got these elite levels where you got the fitness trailers out there. They're keeping them either rehabbed and healthy, which is, you know, maintenance mode. And then, you know, of course, they've got their coaches with their fitness and biomechanical coaches that help them maintain strength, or, you know, when the season, you got to get in the off season, develop more strength. but that's at that level. What I see in reality is, when I see a junior golfer, they have no concept of like, you should train. You know, even though they see these players, they think, well, I'll just train when I get in college or whatever. Well, you don't want to be. It's a little too late then. These kids, the ones that are getting these scholarships, one, they're very talented, and you put the skill set for sure at first. But then they've been preparing somebody. It's maybe their dad or maybe their coach and maybe whoever has been conditioning them, saying, hey, you're going to have to push now so you're prepared when you get there. You don't want to train at college when you get to college. You need to be training at college. You know, I wouldn't say at 12 or 13, but you know, you start getting around 14, 15, you better start preparing because everybody else is, and you're probably going to miss out. So, and hockey players they understand, like, you got to train. You know, you got to have discipline with the sport. You got to learn from coaches like you about awareness, which we'll get into as well, of the game, like we have as well. But also, they're more conditioned to train their whole life. They know they got to go train and condition themselves as athletes.
Yes, they know that. They know the importance of cardio. They know the importance of having the strength, lower body, etc., and so forth. The glutes, the hips, explosion. So, but the major problem that they encounter a lot of times is that they work on a lot of mechanical skills, which is repetitious, and they overlook the other preparation, like we talked about, awareness. The young athlete, the young golfer, for example, that comes out and works with you at the academy, etc., and so forth, he's the smart one. The parents are making a good investment, because when you make an investment, you want to have a return of your investment. So you start them young, you put them with a professional. In hockey, it's the same thing. So you need to correlate the two sports, bring them together at a younger age. A professional can do it, an adult can do it, a 90-year-old can do it. You can start with an 8-year-old. It doesn't really matter, because all it comes back to is decision, vision, awareness.
That's right. When you're talking about awareness, I know you talk we have awareness. Our awareness is a little bit different because we're not really passing anything off to anybody and so forth, but we still have vision. Like, you take a golfer, we call it tiger. When I say tiger vision, I don't think you could call it tiger vision. It's not that. It's called tiger vision in Tai Chi, where when you do meditation, you'll start to, at some point, we call it tiger vision because you'll turn your eyes and you just scope everything out, and you kind of catch, like here, every leaf, every single little detail in between. And so that's a vision that most people have now. Most really great golfers have at a very young age, and it's a lot of times natural, or they develop that skill. But there's times they don't, where they just come up there and they just see a green and they just walk up to it. They'll hit a shot and they walk up to it. And a really high level player, they scope this golf course out with their eyes, and they're looking at where the grain's running, where the fall offs are, short side, this, and they calculate that in, and they'll hit their shot and execute it. And once you get over the shot, you're not worried about all this stuff. You just pick your target. This is what you calculated. This is swing, hit the ball.
Decisions made. Exactly.
Decisions made, swing and hit it, and who cares? But could you tell us about, because that's golf, but could you tell us about hockey?
Yeah, well, the hockey side of it is mainly, it's vision, awareness, hockey IQ. We have a pet peeve, most hockey coaches. When we receive a player, let's say at the development mode, and you draft a player in the first, second, third round of hockey in the National Hockey League, and then you receive him, then you start looking at him and say, well, gee, he doesn't know how to play. His performance factors are very, very poor. Why is that? It's something that's very simple that kicks in, is their learning process is very slow, because they haven't put enough importance upon the areas of need. The areas of need of hockey, if you cannot see a play or a possibility, or you cannot understand anticipation and improve upon it, you're always going to be in trouble. You may be the fastest skater, you may be a 6'6" player, you may be the strongest athlete out there, and you may be extremely skilled in the mechanical areas. But if you're a cerebral part of the game, if you cannot see the game, you do not understand the game, the player that's a little slower than you, maybe a little smaller, but if he's smarter and he sees the ice and he understands it, he's going to make that team and have more minutes played than you are. And it all comes back to golf. The golfer that steps out on the field, he doesn't just walk up and whack a ball.
No.
He studies that field. He's already identified certain areas, what he wants to do. I'll let you handle that. That's your field, not mine. But a hockey player, he has to decide whether or not he's going to make direct, indirect passes. Does he have time and space? Can he see through the play like a golfer has to see through? For example, if he's going to hit he's on a par 5 and he wants to get there in 2 or 3, he still has to put it in a certain area. So a hockey player has to see through the opposition and his own player before he makes a play.
Yeah, it was cool the other day. Hey, what's up, Jesse? Want to come in?
Yeah. Hey,
Cool, cool.
Jesse,
We
how
got
are
Jesse
you?
here.
Good.
Come
Yeehaw.
on in. Here's a man.
Hey guys,
Yeah.
sorry I'm late.
Social distancing. We got about
Yeah.
18 feet between.
We're going to be fine.
That's right. We're gonna make it.
Yeah, I think we'll be all right. They better put some gasoline in that stuff for us.
Yeah, it ain't gonna do anything.
But anyway, we're just talking about golf and hockey and relatability. And I was saying earlier, Jesse, that I like your input because, obviously how much he trains and so forth in the gym. And he does cross training, he does his own style, and he does golf, I'm sure now. But as a golfer, when I was growing up, still I think when I teach the junior golfers is our golfers don't really like the training it, like getting in the gym and training it by itself like a hockey player knows, a baseball player knows. We got to have big old rooted legs and we got to be, they know.
Yeah.
But golf is still kind of like, I can just go out there and sling my body around and make this thing work.
Yeah, I think in the last decade, you can almost say it started with Tiger. Maybe
Yeah.
I think that's become a little bit more to the forefront. It's becoming more popular in golf, but. Yeah, no, I agree. I
Just
don't
common
really
golfers,
understand it,
though,
but
still.
you can see the benefit now. The guys that play now versus the guys that played 20 years ago, they put a lot more emphasis on their strength, their flexibility, just overall health.
Rehab, too.
Yeah, rehab. I mean, their body's a machine, and they treat it like one now, a lot more so than what they used to. And you see the results. I know the equipment's a lot different, the technology and different things, but these guys are more athletic. They're athletes today compared
Yeah, they are.
to
You
more
take
so than the guys before. They had the coordination. They had that factor.
Yes.
A lot of them did not have that trained athlete factor.
Yep.
It shows big difference.
Yeah, and and Gary Player, I bring it up because we had another South African on yesterday with his fitness coach, David Frost. But Gary was really good about bringing fitness and talking about the aspect. He just wasn't that kind of stature like a Dustin Johnson or a Brooks Koepka. Now these guys are. Like Coach, you talked about it, the hockey players now, but back in the old days, hockey players didn't have that, maybe not as big, now you look at them, and I saw some photos today. I was trying to research it because I don't know much about hockey, and I'm looking at them, each guys are monsters.
If you're 6'2" today and you're playing defense, you're a small defenseman.
Wow.
So you better be very smart. Your hockey IQ had better be very, very high. And that's the difference maker. But the average defenseman now on defense in the National Hockey League, 6'3", 6'4". Now they have guys 6'8", 6'9" playing defense.
Yeah, and they're jacked up. They big, long arms, big.
Big. Oh yeah, they come to play.
Yeah, I can't even. I wouldn't want to find out.
But where we were going with this, Jesse, is that it's very important. Like golf, for most athletes do not understand the transferability between different sports. The importance of bringing the elements of importance, the key elements towards another sport to make it easier to assimilate all of the facilities and the execution that's needed to perform. For example, in golf, you're the pro. When you're out there, when you were playing on the pro tour, you walked the course, you played the course before, you made sure you understood, all the hazards, etc. and so forth. You had your own little book and so forth. So mentally, you were ready.
Right.
You were mentally prepared to go out and perform. So you had an advantage on that amateur that couldn't be a pro like you were because he didn't have that. Now in hockey, what they do not quite seem to understand is the importance of conditioning and strength. That mental conditioning is just as important.
Sure.
So what we have to do, we have to make them understand that if you practice golf, just the different facets of the game, the way you have to poise, for example, poise. Now in hockey, the player that has more poise is usually more successful than one that is not.
Right.
Now the player that has more poise usually the game slows down because he sees it,
Right.
he understands it. So this is what golf can bring you. Golf brings you also the same elements as hockey. It starts with a base, it's on ice, golf's on grass. So everything starts from the ground. And when you're playing, you're against hazards. So the hazards are all over the course, trees, water, etc. In hockey, they're adversaries. And they're boards, goaltenders, etc. So what golf brings, golf opens up the mind and it opens up the vision. So every youth should be playing or at least taking golf lessons. If he wants to be a better hockey player, he needs to take golf lessons.
Right.
And then, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say we had that George Montoya yesterday, David's
That's right.
trainer, And he talked about that exact thing. Is he really encourages youth to play other sports besides golf because you learn that body awareness. You learn. He was talking about golf. You start from zero. You start with nothing, and you create the force. You don't have where football or basketball, you're getting hit. You're having to react to that, and you're having to. And I thought that was a good point. It kind of goes into what you're saying. I feel like.
I thought that was a great point because if somebody comes to strike you, one, you're going to naturally contract a little bit. You're not going to just go limp and let them walk you out.
You'll
You're going to take. You might do it once where you go limp and.
You won't do it twice.
Well, not twice. And so, and with golf, we can create. And I'm not. I certainly don't want to say, there's certain parts of your body you kind of want some tension. A lot of times it's unforced. Like you get in good posture, there is some tension in your core, but you're not forcing it. But your arms are relaxed. There's different body parts you got to do different. Just probably like hockey. You don't want your arms tense when you're going to strike, but your body, I bet they're rooted and their body's ready to rock, and then their arms are flowing around. Whatever that is. I don't even know what I'm doing there, but that's a bad hockey swing. Coach, don't copy that.
Coach, let's just look at the shooting in hockey. We all know you have to be able to score a goal. It comes off a shot.
Yep.
It comes off a puck movement. Now, let's say you're shooting a puck. You're shooting either to score a goal or to create a scoring opportunity. So either by a direct shot into an open area, the white of the twine when you see it, or maybe you want to create a rebound. That comes back to velocity. So that comes back to your hands. The same thing in golf. You may not want to shoot the puck as hard. You may not need to. And maybe you want to have it to fall 5 feet in front so you could have a rebound come to you. So if you're a golfer, if you've learned to play golf, you've learned that, well, hey, I have to chip the putt here. I have to make a chip.
Right.
I have to make a drive. So it teaches you also the different velocity of the needs to shoot a puck, the execution, the results, and why a youngster or a pro can learn from it. Because if he takes a puck and he shoots it at 100 miles an hour, and the rebound comes over, he shoots it low, and it bounces back out to the blue line, that's useless. If I've got a guy 10 feet in front of the goaltender in the net, I want that puck 10 feet in front. So I want that puck shot maybe at 40 miles an hour. So if you haven't played golf, if you haven't touched a golf club, how are you going to do that?
Right. That's right.
So this will open up your mind towards all of those things. That's just one area.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you take somebody that's never played. I've worked with a million of them.
Oh God.
They can take a full swing because that's a full swing. Put them right here and tell them to hit it to a hole 10 feet away. They have no concept.
Still
of
full
how
swing.
hard. Yeah, they still take their backswing to here, or they bump it 3 feet because they have no concept of how they need to do that.
They don't have that touch.
If you've played hockey and you got to open net and you don't need to hit as hard as you can. You just got to make sure you make it.
You got to be
develop
precise.
that sense.
You
Right.
want to be precise.
It was like, I think Frosty said that. Was it yesterday? He was talking about his son chip and runs. I can't remember if it was the one before or yesterday, but his son was teaching. He was teaching him chip and runs, shots around the greens with a 7-iron. And like most kids, they want to hit probably a sand wedge or something like that. And he's like, no, just bump the son, bump this thing around there. And the first ball, of course, went over the green. But then he said, let's spend 20 minutes hitting that. And then eventually, it went from knocking it over the green to, it's just this.
Yeah.
It's like, see, that's a much easier way to make par than having a swing like this with an nail wedge, that you only have to hit 15 feet.
Right.
Well, tell me, gentlemen, in golf you can't cheat. In golf, if you try to cheat, you're not going to be successful. You have to start from the beginning, and you have the grassroots. Then you grow, you improve your skills. Exactly, am I correct?
That skill set
Now in
first.
hockey you can cheat, and I'll tell you how they cheat, and this is what parents and players have to understand. We were once teaching a group of youth how to use the net as a shield. So we start with a stepladder system. Our system is that we would start out by explaining, well, the net's there, you use it to shield it, to protect you from the opposition. So that's all we did. We started with that. One gentleman that was there that was a coach, supposed to be a development coach. He said, hey, that's not quite right. You got to get close to the post. You have to do this. He went 3 miles in front and now the kids, they didn't even know how to do step 1, and he was giving them step 5 and 6.
Lost in the jungle.
So I had to blow the whistle and then wait and then talk to the young man and say, no, we have to correct this. It's not a negative towards the coaching staff. It's just that when we're teaching or we're helping you to be better prepared, there are certain mannerisms that you have to understand. Step ladder. In golf, if you step up to hit a ball, I just can't come up and say, well, okay, you got to hit that ball over there. I want you to hit the flag.
Right.
Yeah.
If I said that to somebody, if I told the arguer, well, go, okay, just go and give them everything, they don't understand.
Right.
And that's why golf teaches patience, teaches poise and understanding and vision, because you have to use all of those skills.
Absolutely.
I agree with that 100%. It does, and I think that's where the crossover with hockey will help us too, though.
Well,
You know,
it's
'cause
both,
you
yeah.
have a lot of, when you're moving a puck around, and I saw you working around the other day, just kind of messing around, and you were doing it here, but, there's a lot of, you make it look easy.
That's
You
what I
know
was
that?
thinking. When I was walking up, you were just kind of slapping that back and forth. I was thinking it took me 10 minutes just to even
It wouldn't work out for us, I don't
Even
think.
make it move back and forth one time.
But
Yeah.
I have to be honest, I have no merit. I live 10 minutes of walk from the golf course. So what I would do, I would caddy, and I would just watch, and they would tell me what they were doing. And my dad made me play different sports. Of course, I had to change sides because of cancer and
Yeah.
illness, but that's why I'm a lefty now. But the bottom line is, if I had no golf knowledge whatsoever, there's no way I would have been able to make the transition from right to left. There's no way.
Right.
Every young athlete, every parent invests money. And we talked about this earlier on
Yeah,
the
we did.
podcast about it. They expect to have a return. Now, if you want to have a return and you want your child to be an NCAA Division I hockey player, or you want him to play junior hockey or make the National Hockey League, be drafted, you have to be darn good at what you do. You have to be way above average. You just can't be good. You also have to bring something that somebody else doesn't have. But there's one thing that most parents do not invest in. They do not invest in another sport where it enhances the awareness, the understanding, the execution, and they can judge the performances by competition, either a golf competition or a hockey game. You'll know exactly where he is. Now, a youngster that's playing golf and plays hockey, I guarantee is going to be a better hockey player than the one that's not.
Yeah.
And I would, if my child, I would invest. Well, you know that my daughter was here. She was 3.5, 4. I had her out here taking golf lessons.
Yeah.
There was a reason for it. And at 5 years old, she could both play 8-year-olds in hockey.
There you go. That's pretty cool. Well, but like you said, those. I mean, that's one thing we talked about is the ball's on the ball, the puck, it's on the ground. You're striking, and I'd say shaft dynamics. They have to be the same. You want to flick one up and get it in the air. It's gonna be like we want to. We don't do it a whole lot, hopefully, unless we hit a bad iron shot. But you flick it backwards, or if you drive it forwards, you can change the trajectory. I would assume. Got to be.
Yes,
With the
direct,
puck.
indirect, and it changes.
And everything in
Explain,
between that.
explain something to those listening. In golf, if you can't see it, you can't play it, can you? You try to be successful. By that I mean
You're talking about seeing the field.
Seeing the field.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to
yeah,
see
of
the
course.
field.
That's what. Yeah.
You identify where you want to put the ball.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you have a reason. Maybe it's a slope. Maybe you wanted to roll down that slope and
Right.
hit it in a certain area. That's the
Right.
same thing in hockey. If I'm going to make a saucer pass, if I'm going to make a time and space pass through and high in the air so that he arrives at the same moment, or maybe I just want to make it just a little fake, a little drawback. Just bring it back. It's just something like creating an illusion, making them make a decision.
Yep.
But I've already seen what I wanted to see because I'm looking. In golf, you have to look. Am I right?
Oh, yeah.
In hockey,
yeah.
most of the players are like this.
Yeah.
And then it's too late.
In golf, I think that's a lot of people refer to that as just having a good imagination. You give a lot of players one shot. As soon as they walk up, there's one shot they think they have to hit. That's what they're going to try every time. You take one of the top level players, they're going to look at that and they see 8 different shots that they can
Thank
hit.
you.
They see 8 different shots, and then they figure out which one is going to get the highest probability of success. And that's what they go with. And I think that's a lot of what you're talking about, is being able to look at all your options instead of just one-track mind.
Seeing
Yeah.
through the play.
This
We
ball-
call it seeing
Exactly.
through the play.
I'll give you one example right here. If I turn around and go diagonally this way, that's down green. That shot's coming off faster.
Okay.
Whether I hit off a fairway with a 7-iron, and if I turn or a tip shot over here, it's going to come off quicker off the tape. Now, if I turn around and go back into the green, there's 2 different shots right there. Ball sitting in the same place.
Right.
And then we play, just we go hit one out of this little bit of this spinach here, it's going to change again. And if we get it in the big spinach, it changes again.
Yeah.
We have to change angles, and you just have to. I always tell people when I teach, there's no way I could teach everybody all the shots. You got to play to learn that.
Yeah,
You know,
that's it.
and struggle. You know, you get in grass that's this deep, and you try to make a U-shaped golf swing or a shallow golf swing. It's probably not going to work out for you. probably going to still be there. Then you kind of wedge down on, oh, that's a shot. And then you put it in your bank. And then it might be, how do I hook it around these trees? Because, you know, we do that. We get into trouble. And, you know, how do I get it to snake around here? And, you know, Jesse probably grew up like me, really self-taught. And you smack one right in the tree and go, well, that didn't work. And then you learn to work it around the tree. And then work it this way and up and down. And, you can teach some of those shots, but you can't teach all this. It's impossible.
I always say good
Can't
golf.
do it.
Good golf comes from confidence. Confidence comes from experience.
Yeah.
Experience comes from doing stuff wrong.
Yes.
Learning what worked and what did not work. But if you've been through those things and you've taken the time to put yourself in all these situations, when it comes tournament time, you got a weird shot, you're confident because I've hit that shot 100 times.
Yep.
You know,
That's right.
I hit that last Tuesday when I was practicing exactly like this. I'm ready.
But
But if you walk up and you haven't hit it, you're hoping for the best. You're just swinging and hoping.
swing,
That does not work very often.
I tell you the worst shot that, in my opinion, the worst feeling in golf. And I've talked to a lot of guys about that. I bet Jesse would agree, and maybe because he play, you know, golf. But the worst feeling is a shot you get over and you have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you get in a bunker, like I've never hit this, and I really have no clue, or you're in a, it could be anything. It could be as simple as being in the rough for the first time in your life. But when you have the feeling you have no idea where this ball could go, I've had it happen, and a lot. And then you learn real quick when you get done, you kind of go, I need to go maybe try this shot again.
Yeah.
Out of competition, because a lot of times it'll happen in competition when you're doing well, and then you'll get and you go, uh-oh,
Yeah.
how do I? And then you can turn turn it from a bogey into a triple bogey, and that 2 shots may cost you a tournament.
Yeah.
Has
I
me
think
before.
I see it all the time. I see guys, they go out to play a practice round, they hit into a weird spot and they just move it, and they kind of say,
Oh.
well, if I'm in it, I won't be here in the tournament. Well, you probably will, and you're not going to have a clue how to hit that shot.
Yeah.
And I see that all, especially with junior players.
Yep.
They hit it behind a tree. Well, I'm just going to move it out so I can keep a score. Well, that's fake confidence.
That's not.
You
that's
shot a
not
number
real.
because you cheated your way around the course.
How that
Now you
high
get
school
to,
championships, see how it
and when you
works
get
out.
into that tournament, you know what you did. You can try to trick yourself, but you know that you did not play it down. You shot 70 in a practice round. No, you didn't. And you know that. You can lie to yourself, but you know what you did.
So everything in golf is relative to hockey. So everything, let's say if you're teaching somebody to putt, we could take that same exercise after they finish their putting, and we can have another exercise that's adapted to hockey, which when that player goes to his practice or he plays a game, his game is going to improve automatically without him even he will not even think. He'll just use thought process. I see it. I'm done. It's normal. It's going to become automatic. And this is what the listener has to understand. It doesn't matter how skilled, how quickly and that your son or that you can handle a puck. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how hard you can shoot it. It matters what do you understand about the game? What do you see? And how can you execute it? Because if you can't do those things, then the game is going to be too quick for you. The game will slow down when you're able to have the confidence and you can play with poise, create illusions, slow things down. At the same time, your body can be moving quickly and your hands moving slowly. All of that comes, you learn that through golf. And you apply it to hockey. So if you go to the golf academy with coach, basically, I'll be around to bring the hockey side in. You're going to get both. But I guarantee you're going to be a much better hockey player. And these two will make you better golfers.
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking forward to it, and that's one of the things we wanted to have Coach Placer. You're probably a member. We haven't even talked about that.
I'm the marshal.
Oh,
There's a
okay,
star.
well, you're a member. Yeah, no, you're a member there. You're a certified member. So anyway, we had fun, but plays out here, so it's great to have him on site with us as well. And I'm going to utilize you as much as you want to be utilized, obviously, because there's a lot about hockey. I don't know if Jesse was here earlier, but it was the #1 crossover sport. I don't have data that says, okay, 1,000, this and that. I just know by teaching for X amount of years that, and all the experience, when I have a hockey player come in, they have a lot of power. They learn really fast when they start learning the mechanics of golf because of all their striking development. And I've seen some weird stuff. You take a 90 shooter plus, and you give them a couple months, they may be low 70s, whereas it takes another player, it might take them 5 years to get to that level.
All right, well, look at the celebrity pro-ams on TV.
Yeah.
The hockey players are always,
Is that right?
of all the other athletes, hockey players are always solid.
They hit it
Who's
far,
the big dude?
not always a short game. The Dallas Stars, they're right here in our area. Players need to be here. some of those players could be here taking some of those courses, and I guarantee you, they probably never thought that it would enhance their game on the ice. Might make a difference between getting to the Stanley Cup or losing in the 7th game of the semis like you did against St. Louis a year ago.
Yeah,
You might have won that game.
Coach, I call it beauty and the beast with golf. And Jesse said the same thing earlier. But we've got a drive, and you want that power, man. If I want to have a drive, I want to be able to hit it if I can, a long way and straight. Where I want to hit it. That's be beautiful. But I gotta hit it 3 feet too. I've got to be able to, and these guys that play, I haven't played in the U.S. Open, but I've watched them, obviously, my whole life, this stuff. Be coming out of grass, and they have to just barely touch it. That ball just slides over the face, and it lands perfectly, it rolls out, and it's like, there's all these, we have all kinds of feel levels, a million of them, of touch and feel, and I think sensitivity of our sport would give, I would definitely think it can help hockey, and I'm certain, and I don't want to say, hockey can't help us, because I've said that.
It's vice versa.
It can help us for sure. Me included, anybody.
But Coach, look at the trees here in front of us. Now I'm looking at the tree, and I was playing with Dean this morning, golf, and he asked me, he said, "What are you looking at, Coach?" And I said, "Well, I'm looking beyond those trees." I said, "I see the trees, but I said, I'm looking at the green, I'm looking for an opening." And I said, "I can see the flag, like from here."
Right.
Now, in a hockey play, if I have a player who's a teammate of mine, and I'm looking to move the puck towards him, I'm automatically, before I give him even any thought process of moving the puck to him, I want to see what's around him. I'm seeing through the play. My peripheral vision's there. I have 360 going there. And I know exactly how close that adversary is to him. Oh, he's got time, I can move it to him. So that comes from golf. That did not come from hockey. That came because I had to see exactly where to hit the ball.
Yeah. I tell you, Phil Mickelson, I think it was on Faraday. I think it was Faraday. Ask him what his thought process was when he walked up to a shot. He's like a human calculator. He calculates so many different things as soon as he walks up. And he started going through. First thing I'm going to look at the lie, the length of the grass, the grain of the grass, the condition between the slope of the green, like before the hole, past the hole. He named off, it seemed like 20 different things that instantly, over doing it so much a year, he don't even think about it. He does it.
Instant.
But when he started saying it out loud, it seemed like it was
Just
impossible.
boom, 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 boom,
That's
boom, boom,
kind of what you're not just looking, that ball needs to go there. You're looking at everything around it.
Everything around
You
him.
take somebody at that level, which is, that's like what you did. Coach these world-class athletes. You take one of them that has that, I should say.
Yeah.
And they're different than the ones that don't have it. That may be talented, they're up and coming. Maybe a D1 college golfer like a John Rahm, like say when was he at Arizona State? I think played 1 year there, maybe
I think so.
somewhere, but somewhere there. He wouldn't be the same player, nor would Phil Mickelson at that age versus getting a few years out there and really starting to see and learn and feel. And that's why golf is it's a lot like wine. You do get better with age. There is a point where it may be go to waste. As we get to a certain